Hello everyone and welcome back to The Barrel, where we are launching a brand new footy series where we analyse each AFL club's 2024 season, including their fixture, possible breakout players, as well as setting a realistic passing mark for their season. So we're starting in alphabetical order with the Adelaide Crows, and in my opinion, they are one of the sleeping giants of the league. Obviously, missed the finals in heartbreaking circumstances last year, but I think they're ready to pounce on the competition this year, and they should be a team to watch very closely. It's been pretty rough for them since 2017, all the fallout from the grand final loss to Richmond, but their appointment of Matthew Nicks has been fantastic, and they've really turned it around quite nicely, so I'm excited to see how they go this year. So let's look back at their 2023 and see what lies ahead for them in 2024.
In 2023, the Crows finished 10th on the ladder with 11 wins and 12 losses, including that heartbreaking loss, if you can call it, against the Swans, which would have put them in the finals. But you can also argue that if they'd played better during the season, they wouldn't even be in that position. So they started off the year pretty poorly. They lost to GWS in round one after blowing a massive lead. Obviously, it was pretty tough conditions in some sweltering heat at Giant Stadium. But ideally, you don't want to be blowing a lead that big in a game. And they also lost to Richmond at Adelaide Oval in round two. Obviously, we know how the Tigers' season went, a mid-table team at best, so they'd probably want to have that one back, seeing as how strong they finished the year at Adelaide Oval. They also lost to Collingwood by 1 and 2 points respectively in both their clashes. So, an extra 4 points there. They'd have 2 extra wins on the board and comfortably make the finals. And they lost against GWS again in round 18 at Adelaide Oval when they were heavy favourites. Obviously, the Giants were playing fantastic football towards the back end of the season, but at their fortress in Adelaide Oval, they'd probably want to have that one back again and have a red-hot crack at the Giants. So a lot of wins left on the table, which were pretty winnable, I'd say. So they'll be looking to improve their ladder position, as it was very much a season of what if in 2023. Now, with their fixture, it was ranked 6th hardest with respect to their double-ups. They have plenty of prime time in the first 15 rounds, 6 Thursday and Friday night games. They have 2 5-day breaks, 5 6-day breaks, and the rest are 7-day breaks. So it's not too bad in that department. If some clubs have more, some have less. Only got the 1 bye in round 15 as they don't play opening round, and they have some trips to Gold Coast, Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, Geelong, Melbourne and Hobart. Now, as I said before, it was ranked the 6th hardest fixture with respect to double-ups. They play Brisbane, Port, Sydney, Essendon, Gold Coast and Hawthorn twice. Probably not the best bunch you want to play. Brisbane are going to be right up there, premiership contenders yet again. Port Adelaide, they picked up some good players in the off-season. They could finish top 4. They could possibly finish in the 8, even miss the 8. I'm not too sure with how they're going to go. Sydney, they should be definitely pushing for top 4 with who they picked up in the off-season, so they're definitely a team to watch. Essendon, you just never really know. They seem to win the off-season every year, but you really don't know how they're going to perform. They could get better, or they could just be classic Essendon. Gold Coast are on the up. Obviously recruited Dimmer in the off-season, and their list is looking really nice. Picked up some nice academy players in the draft as well. And Hawthorn, who many have tipped to be big risers in 2024. So there's always a sense of danger when you play those type of teams. So not the best crop you want to be playing twice, but I guess with how they went last year, the AFL sees them as quite a good team. They play 13 games at Adelaide Oval, which is a win for their fans. And overall, I think it's a pretty decent fixture. As I said before, plenty of prime time. And it seems that AFL has placed quite a bit of expectation on them to perform on the back end of last year. For some breakout stars in 2024, I've got 3 that really jump out at me, who I think will take the next step in 2024. Number 1, Isaac Ranken. He'll be 24 next season. He's played 68 games and fresh off a 36-goal campaign entering his prime. He's already pretty damn exciting, so who knows what he's capable of. He reminds me very much of an Eddie Betts type player. You know, he has the ability to make something out of nothing, and you always get excited when the ball enters the forward line and he's there. He could very well be an All-Australian in 2024, and I'm very excited to see how he goes. Number 2, Riley Thilthorpe, obviously former number 2 pick. He hasn't really shown his utmost potential so far, but I think he's building. Kicked 18 goals last year and should be the replacement for Tex once he finishes up. He's shown some great performances, such as the first showdown in 2023, but I think this is the year where he starts doing that more consistently. There's been some talk that he's had quite a good start to the preseason, so he's every chance of becoming one of the more impressive young stars in the competition in 2024. And finally, Luke Pedlar. He finally got on the park in 2023 after 2 injury-riddled seasons prior to that. He should play more in the midfield this year, as Adelaide drafted him as a contested ball winner. However, he does have some forward craft, kicking 25 goals throughout 2023. I'd like to see his contested work shine through a bit more as the Crows throw him into the middle more, and I'm sure he can be one of the premier ball-winning young guns around. He reminds me very much of a George Wardlaw type with heaps of upside. So for a realistic passing mark in 2024, as I said before, Adelaide are building, and a pass mark for them, I would say, is the top 8, possibly even pushing for top 4. I can't see them missing the 8, and we saw last year that their best is very, very good, but their worst isn't too bad either. They really just need to fix up their consistency, and anything's possible. I think they're a team who genuinely strike fear into the opposition when they play their best footy, and it's very hard to beat them, especially when their forward line are cohesive and firing. So as we saw in the Best 22 video, they've got a very strong list, and I think it's pretty primed to do damage from 2024 onwards. The back line, I'd say, is probably their biggest worry around the ground, but with the development of some youngsters, such as Michael Annie, who played 22 games last year, the drafting of Dan Curtin should hold them in good stead for the year ahead. I'm particularly excited to watch how Josh Worrell goes as he takes the place of Nick Murray, who did his ACL late last year. Thank you to one of our viewers who reminded us of that. And obviously the loss of Tom Duday is pretty massive, so they need Jordan Butts to take a more prominent role to hold that backline together. And at the moment, I think they really just lack a real quality key position backman, which is probably their only real liability around the ground. They're crying out for someone like a James Sicily, so it will be really interesting to see how that backline does shape up in 2024. As of last year, they were the number 1 scoring team in the competition, so their forward line is in great shape. I think it's just a matter of if Tex Walker can reach the heights of last year, which I think he can. If he takes a step back, it'll be important for Fogarty and Thilthorpe to stay injury-free and step up. And they've also got some fantastic small forwards, Ranken, Pedlar, Murphy, Rochelle. So it's always a great joy to watch Crows games, given how electric they are up forward. Their midfield, led by Laird and Dawson, is pretty strong too. Matt Crouch had a good end to 2023, and overall he should get back to his ball magnet best in 2024 to take some pressure off the 2 mentioned previously. And the pinch hitters they get in there probably aren't the best, but with the 3 superstars they have, they can probably plan their interchanges as to have at least one of them on the ground at all times. And like in all teams in the hunt for finals, 2024 is unfortunately a year that the Crows will have to sacrifice developing their youngsters at the expense of winning on field. Some of those youngsters were in and out of the team last year. Sam Berry made his way out after a strong year prior. Lockie Scholl, Schonberg, Will Hamill, Nankervis. So it's absolutely a matter of win now for Adelaide, and rightly so. This is the year where they need to start making moves before their big stars, Laird, Tex, start regressing, as Rory Sloane and Brodie Smith already have. But all in all, it's looking like a very exciting year ahead for the Crows, and their fans have every right to be ecstatic for the year ahead. So that's all I have for the Adelaide Crows in 2024. As mentioned before, check out our Best 22 video in the description for an idea of who we have making their final team. And that's it. Join us next time as we analyse the Brisbane Lions for season 2024. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.